The Ottoman Empire, the weakest faction on the board. Well, it's not the weakest faction. It's more like the second weakest faction, because Italy is the weakest faction. However, for the Central Powers, the Ottoman Empire is the weakest faction. As a matter of fact, it's really not far off from Italy. They only have 16 IPCs. Italy has 14. And this is an empire. But of course it's weak because the empire is dying. It was dying at this time period. If you look at their armies, they have one good-sized army here in Constantinople. But then you look at all their other armies on average, well, all of their other armies on average are, well, undermanned. The typical army has 2 artillery pieces. And then you look in the Syrian desert, there's nothing but a single man. And then you look right here at where the British attacked Transjordan, and there's only 2 men, 1 artillery piece. Not even, that's like a third of an army right there. The same amount of men was right here in Mesopotamia. Their navy, they only have one ship. That ship is right here. Shit. So I went over this in my head. And now I'm ready to show you guys the Ottomans' turn. With only 16 IPCs, there's really not much room to buy everything you want or need. With 16 IPCs, we can probably afford 1 artillery piece along with 3 infantry. 3 infantry costing 4 infantry, costing 12, 1 artillery piece costing 4. 12 plus 4 is 16. So that is what we will purchase. The Russians have taken Mesopotamia on their first turn. So as part of our first turn, we will have to push them out. We are going to attack into Mesopotamia for our combat phase. Since the British already wiped out these soldiers on their turn, we must take our army in Smyrna and attack back into Transjordan. The sad thing about all of this is that neither of these attacks, this one nor this one, will likely even push the Allies out. Mesopotamia is too critical of a territory to let go, so we had to contest it. And Transjordan, it's not critical, but we need to push the British out. The British are outnumbered in Transjordan due to the fact that they lost some men last turn attacking it. And now you have our final army in Constantinople. We can't do anything with it, but we can take our cruiser and move it out to challenge the British in Sea Zone 19 and remove the British from our shores. Now that those 2 attacks are already decided, I must roll the dice and I will show you guys the outcome on the next turn or next round, whichever one, as I always do. Moving on to the non-combat move phase. Turkey, the Ottoman Empire, needs all of the soldiers it can possibly get. So we're going to move 1 soldier up to Bulgaria. Bulgaria is a Central Power neutral country. If we activate it, we will get 3 times 2. That is 6 units. So we will basically get 5 soldiers and 1 artillery piece. That's perfect. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Boom, that's a whole new army right there. And as for the other soldiers in Constantinople, let's just move them to check the British, who are in Arabia right now. We must defend our empire from all sides. But right now the Allies are crushing us like this. That is the non-combat move phase right there for the Turkish, for the Ottoman Empire. The Ottoman Empire is very often knocked out of the game first, before Russia. Turn 3 typically means economic collapse. Turn 4, very often political collapse. There are ways to navigate the Ottoman Empire and help itself with its deficiencies. The same way that the French were able to figure out a way to deal with the Germans. I could go into detail on this, but I'm not. Personally, if I was playing the game myself, I likely would have sent only a few soldiers into Mesopotamia to contest it just for like a turn, but sent everything else towards the British in Transjordan. Send, divide and conquer. Like, not even divide and conquer, like try and conquer one at a time. Make space for one other, take out one, and then hopefully get back in time to make up all the ground that you're going to lose from the Russians coming from this side. If the Russians did not attack Mesopotamia, likely this wouldn't be such a detrimental situation, because then we could have simply just moved into Persia, where the British attacked and reinforced our Islamic brethren. But that's not what happened. The Allied player is smart. We are going to collect our income now. 16 is our IPC count, but looking at how much territory we've lost, we lost this on the British turn, and we lost this on the Russian turn way earlier in the game. Well, way earlier in this round, the first round. So 16 minus 1 plus 3, 4. 16 minus 4, that's 12. We can't afford to lose IPCs like that. But on the bright side, we've taken Bulgaria, activated them, so now we're getting income from them. So 12 plus 3, 15. The Ottoman Empire is not as sick as it looks. So, 15 IPCs. Let's go on ahead and adjust that. Turkish. Move down one. 15. And now we place our units. With that being done, let's move on to the next turn. I'll put anything else I think about the Ottoman Empire below in the description, but honestly, I feel as though I have not. I feel as though I've already said everything I possibly can about this sadly falling empire. The British are strangling it. I'll show you guys the combat. I'll show you guys the combat results next turn.